forward to this.
What's up everyone, how's it going? In this video, I'm going to be reviewing the Count Dooku update. I'm going to be reviewing a lot of things like his animations, his abilities, and more. And then towards the end of the video, I'm going to be going over your guys' top comments from my previous video. So let's jump right into it, and starting off with how he looks, because that's the first thing you see when you open up the game is Count Dooku, and I gotta say, they really nailed how he looks in this game. He looks pretty identical to Christopher Lee, and they also got his lightsaber to look spot on as well. I honestly don't think they could have done a better job considering the technology we're at today, and DICE has done a great job with the past characters on how they look, because Grievous looks exactly how he did in the movies, so does Obi-Wan. He looks exactly like Ewan McGregor. I remember when the promotional art pictures came out for him, he looked a little bit off, but luckily when we saw him in game, he looks almost perfect. So I'm super curious to see how they made Anakin look in this game. So let's get back on to Count Dooku and let's start talking about his animations. Just like his looks, they look amazing, and I honestly think this is the best DICE has done in terms of animating heroes, because while Grievous is my favorite hero to play as, Grievous's animations are a little bit lackluster considering there's only 4 base attacks, which was really disappointing to when I saw him. And so I'm really hoping DICE does decide sometime in the future to implement more animations for him, because if you read the article on him, they said it was really hard to make him. So I understand that there's only 4, but at the same time, I'm really hoping they work on him a little bit more in the future. So the next thing I want to talk about on Count Dooku is his abilities. My favorite ability is his first one, or the one on the left, and that is called Lightning Stun. And honestly, this is the one I was worried about the most whenever he got revealed, because I thought that was just going to be another stun in the game, but luckily it's like a force push in a way. He does kind of like what he did to Anakin in Attack of the Clones, where he force lightninged him and kind of threw him around, but in this game it just basically throws him to the ground. So I really like this ability because it doesn't stun them, it's not unfair. It's a lot like a force push, it throws them to the ground and then you have a chance on killing them. But if they're a good enough player, they can roll out of it. So I like that there's some balance there with it. And I remember how many people were worried and freaking out when Lightning Stun was the name of it, because people hate the stuns in this game. So the next ability is also one of my favorites if it worked correctly, and I'll talk about that in a minute. This one is called Duelist, and basically what it does is it gives him these special looking animations where he kind of puts his hand behind his back and he starts swinging around, kind of like fencing, because Christopher Lee was actually a fencer in real life, so it's kind of cool to see that they implemented that into this game. But basically he does a lot more damage. He can one-shot every infantry, I think, except for the heavy class, which is good. So it's kind of like Grievous's star card where he can do more damage per swing, except this time it's in the form of an ability. And the problem with this one is it works, except the animations, for whatever reason, turn off if you start running with it. So basically, if you want to have the animations, activate the ability and then just don't run with it. I know it's a really dumb glitch. I wish it wasn't there, but there is supposed to be a hotfix coming out on the 30th of January, which as of now is just 2 days away. He's also coming out with a new skin called Dark Ritual, so look forward to that. So his last ability is called Exposed Weakness. This ability works very similar to how General Grievous's Thrust Surge works in terms of locking onto enemies. So basically you'll lock onto someone and you can do a lot of extra damage and it slows them down. And the reason I really like this ability is because if you kill the person you locked onto, the ability immediately refreshes. So it's very useful in Galactic Assault if there's a ton of people in the way. The only thing I wish it did is it could lock on to multiple enemies. That would really help it out. Honestly, I'd rather have it do that than it refresh every time you kill someone, because when you're in between the animation of the ability, you're very vulnerable to damage, and that's something I really don't like in this game, is how often you get stuck in animations and then you can just get killed instantly. So next up, let's talk about the glitches, and luckily this new update only came with one glitch that I found, or maybe just a few really small ones. The only big one I could find is on the Duelist, where his animations don't work properly. This one isn't such a big deal, but I really wish that was fixed, so hopefully in this hotfix it is working properly. The other glitch I found is that every now and then Luke Skywalker will start speaking in German, and this isn't a bad glitch in my opinion, because it's pretty hilarious to hear when he's just speaking normally and then all of a sudden you just hear some person speaking in German on the Star Wars Battlefront. But overall, this update is really good. I'm very happy for it, especially because of the new bug fixes that came with it. It seems like all the ones that they said they were fixing are actually fixed, and I know a lot of people were disappointed that Coruscant clone skins were delayed, and I was disappointed myself, but at the same time I was just super excited for Count Dooku, and they said they were being delayed because the clone update is going to be a lot bigger than what they had anticipated at the beginning, so I cannot wait for February for that. But I know a lot of people were pretty upset that the only thing that came was Count Dooku, and Fire Guy Gaming, who is another Star Wars Battlefront 2 YouTuber, did make a video saying this was a disappointed update, and I love his channel, but I had to disagree with him on this one. I think any update that comes with a new hero is a good, successful one, so I'm just happy to see that we got Count Dooku. But yeah, overall, I think Count Dooku is the most well-made character in terms of animations, abilities, and all that, and making him feel like Count Dooku. So really good job to DICE on making this new character, and I cannot wait for Anakin Skywalker. So now I'm going to be going over your guys' top comments. So these comments come from my latest lightsaber dual mode video, and the first top comment comes from a user called Star Commander, and he says this and in Order 66 mode. And that would just be the coolest thing in this game, I think, because imagine getting Coruscant, the Jedi temples, and then you could have an Order 66 mode where maybe 2 or 3 people are Jedi, and then the rest of the characters are playing as clones, and you have to go hunt the Jedi down, and there could be like a 10-minute time limit to go and kill them. I think it'd be a really great mode, and it's something that a lot of people have been requesting. So the next top comment comes from a user named Battledroid, and he basically just says in all caps, private matches. And this is something I've been wanting for so long now, especially because I'm doing YouTube now for Battlefront. It'd be really fun to start getting in all my subscribers into private matches, and we can have Heroes vs Villains games and then Galactic Assault games. So the last top comment comes from a user called CT5555, and he basically talks about 1v1 hero mode, where it takes a scene from each movie and makes you fight each other, like Anakin vs Obi-Wan, Kylo Ren versus Rey on Starkiller Base, Luke versus Vader. I mean, there's just so many iconic lightsaber duels in Star Wars that it would be a really great mode to implement in. So that's going to do it for the top comments and this video. If you guys want to have a chance of being featured in the next video, be sure and comment something down below. It can be pretty much about anything, about Star Wars Battlefront or just Star Wars, or just a question you have about me. It doesn't really matter to me. So thank you guys for all the comments. I do go and read every single one of them, and I usually respond to pretty much most of them. So even if you don't get featured in a video, I'll probably most likely respond to you if you have a question or just a cool statement that I agree with or disagree with. But that is going to do it for today's video. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. If you're new, be sure and subscribe for more Star Wars news, gameplay, and more. Comment down below what you guys think about Count Dooku, and I'll hopefully see you all in the next one.